I'm here with Lori at Rod's Decorating to talk about primers. So what do we need to know about priming?
Well, there's a lot to know. We have people come in, usually say, I just want a can of primer. It's like, well, what are you using it for? Is it for inside or outside? This time of year, not too many people prime outside, but they'll have a project that they're doing in a heated garage or shop, right? So we need to know what it's going to be used for. So interior, exterior, what substrate it is. Is it wood? Is it painted wood? Is it bare wood? Is it new wood? Is it old wood? Because that makes a difference as to what we would recommend. So we've got all kinds of primers here. Starting here, these are just basic drywall primers. So you have new drywall. There's the first one is just kind of a basic one. This one is a undercoater sealer, and the drywallers and painters like a little better because it covers better, so it's a little heavier bodied, but also it sands easier, because when you paint gyprock, it raises those little fibers on the paper of the gyprock, and they've got to sand that. So anything to help them with that kind of job is best. So then you get into some specialty primers. This is a waterborne bonding primer, so for hard to stick to surfaces, like if you're painting an old Formica dresser or you've got something that's lacquered or varnished, it bonds really well, and it's a water-based. This is also a water-based. This one has a stain blocker in it, so if you've got kids that have drawn on your walls with felt marker and crayon and that sort of thing, or even if you have water stain from a leak, or you've had a fire, it will block certain amount of stains. But severe stains, you need to go into some of the others. These two are oil-based, the Primalock and the Blockout. The Blockout is low odor, so it's not as smelly. The Seal Lock is for severe fire damage and that sort of thing. And it's an alcohol-based, so it dries very quickly, but it stinks. And of course, it's very flammable. So then we've got our Fresh Start primers, and they are kind of the Cadillac. They cover the best. They're just the best all-around primers. There's a water-based and an oil-based. Again, depending on what you're priming, will indicate what we would recommend for you. And sometimes people come in and they want a certain thing, but that's not what we would recommend. You'll get a better job out of, maybe what we recommend.
Of course, it's very important to use the correct product when you're doing a project. Absolutely. So why is primer so important to have for your project?
Good question. Primers are for adhesion, and they prepare the surface. That'll seal the surface, seals the paper surface on gyprock, seals the wood, so the paint will bond and stick well. These primers obviously are for hard to stick to surfaces. The Sticks primer, for example, you can prime and paint ceramic tile, glass, plastic, which is really difficult to paint typically. But also, a wood primer, you need to prepare that surface, especially if it's old weathered wood. You really need to seal it because it's dry and brittle, and so you've got to prime it with the proper primer. And then once you get it primed, you can pretty much put anything on it. Even if it is an oil-based primer, you can put a latex over top of it.
And how long does it usually take to dry?
Most of them dry fairly quickly. They're dry to touch in an hour or two, but they don't recommend that you recoat that quickly, usually 4 to 6 hours.
Are they expensive to purchase?
No, it's relative. Like, the whole job with painting is that the prep is done right and use quality products. So, if it saves you having to do it again because you didn't use the right primer the first time, it's actually saved you money.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for your time.
Thank you.
Like Lori said, it's very important to get the correct product for your project. So if you need any additional information on primers, just head over to Rod's Decorating or contact Lori.